Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Wednesday, April 27th, and I want to talk to you about what Norwegian's protocols are for sailings to Canada as well as in Europe. I think we are all familiar with what they are here in the United States, and they have not changed. And I'm going to also share a lot of information with you about some different ports and some different cruise ships. So first of all, I would like to welcome all of our Let's Go family members. It is wonderful to be here with all of you, so thank you for coming. Also, welcome to all of you who are new. We are really glad to have you with us. If anyone hasn't subscribed yet, will you please subscribe to our channel? It will help us out, and I think that you are going to love being part of this amazing community that we have got here. We keep you up to date with everything, as well as we have an awful lot of fun, so thanks. So first of all, I just wanted to bring everyone up to date with what is going on with Norwegian's protocols. We have gone over recently what the protocols are for a lot of the other cruise lines, especially on their sailings from Canada or to Canada, as well as in Europe, since that's the season that is kind of starting up here, and we have already gone over and are familiar with the protocols for sailings from the United States to other places. So first of all, let's start with Canada. Norwegian points out, just like the other cruise lines do, that you need to complete doing the ArriveCan app within 72 hours of embarkation. So they point out that that must be submitted so that you'll have that digital receipt that we keep talking about that app gives once you're done. They also say that all guests ages 12 and older must be fully vaccinated at least 2 weeks prior to when you're going to sail. And Norwegian is not giving any exemptions. They don't even talk about exemptions. And so it sounds like what we are hearing is that Norwegian they always like to sail with completely all vaccinated passengers, but also Canada is being a real stickler about that. And so that's obviously a requirement there. At embarkation, all of the guests must bring with them a negative PCR test done within 72 hours or a negative antigen test done within 48 hours of embarkation. They also say that all unvaccinated guests ages 5 to 11 will be required to take an additional test at embarkation. That test will be supplied free of charge by Norwegian. So like I said, 12 and up vaccinated, and then the kiddos that they're letting on between the ages of 5 and 11, which, by the way, that is who is eligible for vaccines. They are just going to require that extra test. Mid-cruise testing is going to be required for all unvaccinated children who are ages 5 to 11, and that test will also be supplied by Norwegian. Finally, if you're disembarking at a port there in Canada, all the unvaccinated guests ages 5 to 11 will be tested at disembarkation, and that again will be supplied and paid for by Norwegian. And so just be aware that is what Norwegian is offering, and requiring, I should say, and that is what the other cruise lines are saying as well. Everyone is saying we've got to get that test within, Princess says 2 days, Norwegian says 48 hours, but there you go. So their protocols are very similar. Also for sailings out of Europe, they are very particular and also point out the rule that is also required by the EU, that if you need to have either you need to be completely vaccinated, and if you have been vaccinated and it's been more than 270 days, about 9 months since you received that, you're going to need to have a booster. Now on Norwegian's protocols, they say that in lieu of a booster 270 days after the primary doses, guests may present a government recognized or official medical certificate of recovery. So that would be for people who have had COVID. So it says for European citizens, this would include an EU Green Pass or comparable certificate. For all others unable to present the EU Green Pass, for example, US citizens, a doctor's note plus a laboratory confirmed PCR test result with proper information like your name, date of birth, positive result will be accepted. And so, but I just want to say that's only for people who have recently had COVID, that they will waive that booster requirement. If you are someone that got your original vaccines and you just can't get a booster, it sounds like they don't have any allowances for that. So just wanted to make you aware. And then like the rest, you need to get that COVID test done within 24 hours. And like we have embarkation, and like we are seeing with Princess is going to have that for free at the port there, and sailings out of Europe, and so is Norwegian. Okay. Now, that's basically in a nutshell everything that is with Norwegian. Like you'll notice, it is similar with everyone else. So I don't know if you recall, but last week I talked to you about how things are going for people who are unvaccinated as far as making port stops and being able to explore on your own. All of the protocols for the major cruise lines still say that if you are not vaccinated, you are not going to be able to just explore on your own. And a lot of times that is directed by the different ports. So Luciano, who is the one who contacted me most recently about that and really kind of nudged me along, hearing from him along with everyone else to talk about it a little bit more, he sent me an update on what their situation is. If you don't recall, were going to go on a British Isles cruise, but since they aren't vaccinated, they were worried about if they were going to be able to explore in the ports on their own. And since it doesn't sound like they are, like they were even hoping you could go on a Princess excursion and then stay in town, but it doesn't seem like that's available. You're going to just have to get back up on the ship. And so I really appreciated his reply. He let me know that he went ahead and contacted the port of Guernsey there, because that is one of the stops, Guernsey, England, and he sent them a question about excursions and being able to get off the ship. In the email here, he points out he talked to 4 different Princess reps, and 3 of them said, oh yeah, you can just do whatever you wanted. And one of them caught it and said, yeah, according to the protocols, you're not going to be able to look around the port on your own and do everything that you want. And so with me, that raises the caveat of keep up to date on things. And sometimes when you call Princess, you get somebody that doesn't know, because occasionally I do that. Even for travel agent type things, they'll say, I can't do that or whatever. And so I just know to hang up and call back. And then I get somebody that knows. And so be really careful with that on what you're planning to do. Really look at the Princess website, be aware of what the protocols are. You know, I love that people listen to me. I just love this community, and I honestly do my best to make sure that I am accurate about everything, but double check on your own. Just make sure, okay? Because we don't want to miss anything. And so anyway, he pointed out that, so he has given me what the people in Guernsey said, and I'm going to tell you, but for him and his family, they've decided that they are just going to go ahead and go, they're going to go visit Ireland and Scotland on their own, you know, like drive around or go on the train or whatever, and go on a British Isles cruise another time. I love that he says that they live here in the United States, and they're going to stay. Also, they're going to go on a cruise to Mexico just to see what how cruising is right now, because I don't know, you know, when you live here, it's a much different thing if you do live here, and to go down to Mexico and not be able to self-explore. It's so much easier to get back there as compared to an expensive cruise going to the British Isles and paying for those expensive plane tickets, and I can see why there's a difference there. And so anyway, God bless you as well, Luciano, for sending this to us. And so basically, this is really interesting. The people of Guernsey sent back what their protocols are on everything, and they are basically saying that they would really like people who are not vaccinated to go ahead and have a COVID test before they get off the ship. And so that is what they are asking, but the cruise line clearly has the final say, and I can get why it would be really hard to like test people every time they go to get off the ship somewhere. That would just, I think maybe that is a little bit prohibitive, depending on how many people that you've got on board that need to be tested every time that you get to a port to get off, and then coordinating with the health officials in that port. And so I do want to point out, though, that the people there in Guernsey, in their protocols, they listed out that they are really very cautious. If anyone is going to let me just tell you here, it says any provider of tours has to have a negative test before they go to work that day. The meet and greet team that will be working with the people at the ship are going to have a negative test every single day. Tour providers and everybody at all of the attractions and things where cruise passengers will be going need to have a COVID test before going to work. And then they also, of course, are encouraging their staff to stay home if they don't feel well. But I just wanted to let you know that a lot of these places are being so very cautious, and I think that lends a lot to what the cruise lines are requiring. So just a note on that. If you've got a British Isles cruise booked and you aren't vaccinated, just make sure that you understand everything that's going on with it. I've got a couple of other updates here for you. First of all, I want to thank Diane. She is so kind, one of our Let's Go family members. She is currently, she sent me this today, just earlier this morning. I had to think about it, sorry. They are currently on Navigator of the Seas there in Ensenada. She said they're having a great time, and she's got a couple of tips for everyone. So for Royal Caribbean, they've got their own app. She says the Cruise Compass is generally app only. So the Cruise Compass, it's their schedule of events. She says you have to go, like the Princess It's a Patter, they call it that. Well, on Royal Caribbean, they call it a compass. She recommends that you go over to guest services and request a hard copy because it has much better daily information in it than you're going to get in the app. So thanks for telling us that, Diane. She also says that for back-to-back people who are going on 2 cruises, that Royal Caribbean will go ahead and have that rapid test on board for you the day before the turnaround, and they will, you don't have to pay for it, it's included. And then, so they are from Australia. Isn't that exciting to have them with us? So they have 2 days before, once they get off that ship, for their Vision of the Seas transatlantic sailing. So Royal Caribbean is said that their guest services has supplied them with the Abbott Binax Now test kits free of charge so that they can go ahead and do the testing in Fort Lauderdale to be able to, within the time window, to be able to board the Vision of the Seas, which is really a great savings and a lot of trouble. And so I love that she points out that as they are going to need to get off with one cruise and then they're going to be traveling to get on another cruise. I love that she points out that Royal Caribbean gave them those Abbott Labs Binax Now tests, because that's what we get when we order from eMed or from Optum. And so it is super handy to just be able to do that. As long as you've got internet, you can do the test, and it's really easy with those. With eMed, and the way they've arranged those tests is you just get on and you wait for your testing person. And Gordon and I, even when we did it when things were really super busy in January before we went on that cruise, it didn't take very long for us to get a medical professional on the line with us in order to do that test. The wait times were not ridiculous at all. So thank you so very much, Diane. We will be really excited to hear how your Vision of the Seas cruise is going. So, as well as the end of your Navigator of the Seas. So we also have Daniel, and Daniel, I really appreciate you letting us know this, and I am a little bit behind on this. I did report on Celebrity moving their Spectrum, I think it's the Spectrum of the Seas that they took out of Asia and they put it over, which made them rearrange where the Millennium, the Celebrity Millennium is. Did I call it the Spectrum of the Seas? It's not. It's a Celebrity ship. Anyhow, I really appreciate Daniel. He says that they were booked on the Celebrity Millennium this December for a 15-night ocean-to-ocean cruise from Los Angeles to Fort Lauderdale through the Panama Canal. When several Celebrity announced that they were redeploying the Millennium and have canceled the Panama Canal cruise as a result. They did not offer any credits or even options to guests on that canceled cruise. So they went ahead, Daniel and his wife, they rebooked on a December 18th sailing of the Emerald Princess with a similar itinerary. It appears quite full already, so those looking to rebook might want to do this soon. But I really appreciate him giving us this heads up to know what they are doing, since they were not able to take the cruise on Celebrity. I love that they just looked and found one that they could hop on Princess. I'm sure that they are going to have a wonderful time. So they were able to get a great secure great premium balcony cabins, he says, when they booked. And so you might want to take a quick look. If you were on that celebrity sailing of the Millennium there in December that was canceled, you might want to take a look and pick up one on the Emerald Princess so that you can still go on a cruise and have a wonderful time. I also wanted to point out, he said that the Celebrity has replaced the Millennium on all of the sailings out of Los Angeles to the Mexican Riviera. It was the Celebrity Solstice. It just came to my mind. That is the ship that they moved from Asia. And so they're going to be there. The Celebrity Solstice will be there doing the Mexican Riviera rather than the Millennium. So if anybody has any questions about any of that, put those down in the comments and let us know if you were booked on one of those cruises that got canceled. And I would also love to hear, I haven't heard really from anybody that was booked on any of those Sapphire Princesses that were cruised recently when they delayed her restart. I would love to just know if you were able to pick up another cruise during a time frame that you were able to go, or if you're moving that sailing to next year, or just kind of what you're doing about it, because I really appreciate hearing about it. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is our amazing Let's Go family member, Holly. She said that they just barely booked a cruise to Hawaii, and they got the cabins for the balcony cabins were the same price as the interior cabins. And so I looked, and she is right. They still are as of right now. And today is, like I said, Wednesday, April 27th. And I looked this morning, they are still the same. And so you might want to take a look if you're wanting to go to Hawaii. This is an amazing time to get yourself a balcony for the same price an interior would be. And I've looked at some other cruises, and I think a lot of cruises this year are still very, very, very affordable. Like I said, our cruise we're doing in the Mediterranean is the cheapest that we have ever been to. I've ever been to the Mediterranean for. And this is the 4th time I've gone there, and way cheaper than it has been before. And so you might want to take a look and see what you can find. And I also, in connection with that, so thank you, Holly, for letting us know. So everybody take a quick look. The other thing is I want to invite you all, as you go on your cruise and you come back from your cruise. I know that some people go somewhere and then they come back and they quit paying attention maybe to our channel or some other cruise channels quite so much. I just wanted to suggest that maybe you'll want to stick with us, because number one, I'm going to really miss you if you go. And I do pay attention. If I don't see somebody in the comments for a while, I wonder where they've gone. And plus we need you, even if you don't comment a lot, because you're there. And if you've got something to share and somebody needs it, you can hop right on in and share. So anyway, there's that. But also, like this thing with Holly booking this cruise to Hawaii, I thought, you know what, you got to stay up with what's going on, because sometimes you hear about places that you can go way more affordably than you thought, as well as an opportunity might come up, or you hear of somewhere you never thought of going, and then you'll just be prepared and say, yeah, I can do everything that's required right now. I'm going to go. And so I'm just throwing that out there, because you know what? Life is too short. You should enjoy it. You have to take care of your responsibilities, but always do your best to enjoy it. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. If you appreciate these updates, will you please give this video a thumbs up? I will be talking to you all really soon. You all take really, really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.